In today's Asia Live, we're heading to our bureau in Bangkok, Thailand, for a look at what's making news in that region. I'm joined by our correspondent there, Ismail Wolf. Good morning from Paris, Ismail. First of all, we're going to talk about the Khmer Rouge trial in Cambodia. Now, that's now entering its final leg, with prosecutors requesting life imprisonment for two of the regime's surviving leaders. They're charged with genocide and crimes against humanity. And a reminder for our viewers, an estimated 1.7 million Cambodians died of execution, disease, starvation and torture during the Khmer Rouge's brutal rule in the 1970s. Ismail, when is that verdict likely to be delivered, do you think?
Well, according to the court, the verdict's expected within the first half of next year. France Van Cat has spoken to officials in the court, and they don't expect that to come through until June. But the clock is really ticking for a court that has been plagued by trouble since it was set up a few years ago. It's really a first example of its kind, a test of its kind in the world. And it's been plagued by problems, financial issues, accusations that it's been impeded in its efforts by the government and officials in the country, many of those who were former Khmer Rouge members themselves, including the strongman Prime Minister Hun Sen. So really, we expect a verdict, hopefully, within the first half of next year. But overall, the court is really struggling to push through in this. There was the two defendants that are still on trial now. They're expected to be sentenced. They're asking for life sentences, as you say. But two others have also, one has died, and the wife of a former foreign minister who was accused has been, the trial has been dropped, seeing as she's not fit to stand trial. So many problems ahead.
OK, moving on to another big story in the region. Burmese pro-democracy icon Aung San Suu Kyi is going to be finally collecting the European Union's Sakharov Prize for Human Rights 23 years after she was awarded that prize. How's the press in your region reacting to that story?
Well, there's sort of a certain amount of perhaps Burmese fatigue really in the region here. In the region, there's not as much coverage as you would expect or you would have seen a year or two ago. However, in Europe, it's big news always when she comes over to the region. This is her third trip since in the last couple of years, since she was released from house arrest in 2010. And it's really seen as, when she's over there, she pushes very hard on this democracy message for the country in this transitional period. But it must be noted that often the words that she uses and the language she uses when in Europe is not quite the same as the language that she uses in Burma itself. She met with Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, David Cameron, and Prince Charles, and the Duchess of Cornwall in England yesterday, and she's been asking for support for changes to the Constitution so she can become president one day. So it's also a personal political trip for her rather than just for the country, it seems.
Very interesting insight there. Now on to another story. When it comes to tourism, Thailand is a world leader. The kingdom's cultural treasures, beautiful landscapes and various other charms attract an influx of tourists. But for some visitors, this holiday paradise sometimes becomes a dead-end street. The country is dealing with a growing trend. Westerners who outstay their visas and wind up poor and homeless. This report now from the popular beach resort of Pattaya.
This is about educating the Thais and the Phalans to quit throwing their cigarettes and plastic in the street. When it rains, it goes into the storm drain, it goes into the ocean, contaminates our water and kills much of our sea life. So after I put this down, I go, Thai for long, Kamen Lao, Thai for long.
This is the world according to Koto, an American stranded on the shores of Thailand. Born with the name Jerry, Koto has had his ups and downs, moving from his native California to Hawaii before ending up here on the streets of Pattaya.
Now we've already come up this side, feeding some of the dogs. Now we're going to go down this side and clean these storm drain posters.
But this is no success story in the sun. Unable to scrape together the money to return to California, Koto has been here without a visa for years, but he's tolerated. He's become part of the Pattaya landscape. He may come across a little nuts, but he's liked.
He's really dedicated. He helps everyone. He takes good care of my daughter. And to be honest, we really don't want him to be forced back to his country.
Koto is a local personality, and he's part of a growing number of others like him. Western tourists who find themselves unable to buy a ticket home, faced with no other choice than to rough it in the tropics. For many, the hardships seem a little less painful under the sun.
Yahoo!
Once a week on Jomtien Beach, the homeless and needy gather to meet.
Kong Rao! Long live the king! Yahoo!
British, Russian or Thai, they are all here to get assistance from a handful of local humanitarian organisations who come to their aid.
I've got to find a safer place to sleep off the beach, you know?
I've been trying to teach him how to climb trees, but it's so wasted effort.
Immigration police seem to be coming a lot now. So yeah, I've got shades. You know? I'm an alcoholic, you know? Definitely an alcoholic.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, so am I, but I'm recovered.
Alcohol, drugs, prostitutes. It's a dangerous cocktail leading to social suicide for a growing number of Westerners here.
You come here the first time, it's like heroin. There's everything you can buy everything, and then everything is happiness, and as soon as you pay somebody, you get everything you want. And then to experience that again, you come back to Thailand maybe to stay here or live here, and then you never get that high again, you know. And then people just get stuck here.
In the past year, the number of homeless Westerners in Jomtien Beach has doubled from 25 to 50, with an estimated 300 similar cases across the country.
All right, that report there from Ismail Wolf in Bangkok, along with Cyril Pyle. Many thanks to him. You have been watching Asia Live here on France 24. Well, do stay tuned to Live from Paris, the very latest international news coming out with my colleague Claire Murphy in just a few minutes. She'll be going live to Australia for more on those reports that the army could be to blame for one of those wildfires.